recognize the pattern at first. At dinner, it looked like excitement. My mother had that bright, hostess energy she saves for occasions that matter to her. Sister's kids were lined up beside her chair while she described the outfits she'd bought for them for her birthday party. New shoes, jackets. You're going to look perfect in the photos, she kept saying. My son was picking at his food, listening. He's 12, old enough to hear tone, old enough to notice what isn't said. When he finally asked, "What about me?" it wasn't confrontational. Sometimes twice. It was hopeful. He assumed he had just been overlooked. My mother turned to him with a smile that looked kind from across the table. "Honey, you're not invited. It's just a small family thing." The room didn't erupt. No one gasped. That's what made it worse. Sister stared at her plate. Her husband suddenly found the salt very interesting. My son blinked once. Twice. I watched the moment land, watched him calculate whether he had misunderstood. I didn't feel rage first. I felt recognition, knew that sentence. I'd heard its older version when I was a child. You wouldn't enjoy it. It's complicated. Maybe next time. The exclusions were always wrapped in softness. Tone could erase content. I stood up. Not dramatically. Not loud enough to cause a scene. "Get your things," I said to my son. Mother looked startled. "Oh, don't be sensitive. It's just, we're leaving." That was all. In the car, he was quiet longer than I expected. "Did I do something wrong?" he finally asked. Question cut deeper than anything my mother had said. "No," I told him. "You didn't." He nodded. I could see him filing the experience away. Kids build themselves from moments like that. They decide where they stand in the world. And I decided something too. I wasn't going to argue my son into belonging. I wasn't going to negotiate for a seat at a table that kept shrinking around him. My mother's birthday came anyway. The party went on. Attend. But I sent a gift. It arrived wrapped neatly, expensive paper, understated. I made sure it would be opened publicly. Mother cares about presentation. Inside was a large framed family portrait from last Christmas, professionally printed. In it, she stood at the center of the living room. My sister's children pressed close against her. My sister and her husband on one side, but the space where my son and I had stood was empty, not awkwardly cropped, intentionally composed, clean, balanced, seamless. If we had never been there. Beneath the frame was a small card. "For your small family." That was it. Later, I heard what happened. She opened it with her usual performance, smiling for her friends, praising the thoughtfulness. Then, she looked closer. Silence fell. Someone asked why the photo looked different. My sister apparently went pale. My mother couldn't laugh it off. Absence was too precise, too visible. There was no accusation in the gift, no rant, no insult, just a mirror. She called me the next morning. "You embarrassed me," she said. Her voice held anger, but something else threaded through it, less stable. "I didn't mention names," I replied calmly. "I respected your wording." "It wasn't meant like that." "I know," I said, and I did. That's the problem. There was a long pause. "You're overreacting. It was one party." "Wasn't one party," I said quietly. "It was a pattern. And my son noticed." She didn't respond immediately. "Won't teach him to ask for inclusion," I continued. "If we're family, it shouldn't require clarification." More silence, offensive this time, just heavy. "I didn't realize," she finally said. I believed her. Not because she was innocent, because favoritism rarely feels dramatic to the person doing it. It feels practical, natural, almost invisible. "I'm not asking you to change everything," I said. "I'm asking you not to make him smaller." The call ended without resolution. No apology. No dramatic reconciliation. But something shifted. The next gathering invitation came addressed to all of us by name. Was a small change, easy to miss if you weren't looking for it. We went. My son was included in photos without hesitation. My mother was more careful with her words. The power didn't flip overnight. It settled differently. At home, though, something else had already changed. That weekend, my son helped me plan his own birthday. We invited who he wanted. We made sure no one stood at the edge wondering if they belonged. I watched him move through the room with ease. I realized the real victory wasn't the framed photo. It wasn't the public discomfort. It was that he didn't ask that question again. Not at my table.